Hi friends. Hey, today I want to talk a little bit to you about fears. I think everybody has fears once in a while. I know some people don't like to be on tall ladders. That's called fear of heights, acrophobia. Or some people don't like to be in enclosed tight spaces. That's called claustrophobia. Some people, they don't want to leave their house ever. That's called agoraphobia. Well, this book is talking about fears today, but I'm going to show you something you don't have to be afraid of. I'm sure you've been around town with your mom or in the car seeing these masks. Lots of people are starting to wear masks. And you know that's just part of protecting ourselves from the virus that's there. Right now, we have to work hard to protect ourselves. We have to remember, wash our hands, try not to touch our face, keep our distance from people, and even wear a mask if we are going to be in public, or if we go back to school, we might be wearing some masks, or your teachers will be wearing masks. So you don't have to be afraid about that. But Frances, she has a lot of fears, and we're going to read this story. It's called Bedtime for Frances by Russell T. Hoban, pictures by Garth Williams. Let's see how Frances deals with her fears. The big hand is on the 12. The little hand is on the 7. It's 7 o'clock. It's bedtime for Frances. Do you guys have a bedtime? I hope you get used to a good bedtime. It's really important to be in a regular schedule every night where you have maybe your dinner, and then you take your bath or your shower, and then you have a story or a little time to look at books, and then you get some good rest. That way, when kindergarten comes, you'll be ready, okay? And you won't have to start school sleepy or cranky in the morning. You'll already have a good routine ready to go. Okay, so it is bedtime for Frances. Mother says, it's time for bed. Father says, it's time for bed. Frances says, I want a glass of milk. Father says, all right, you may have a glass of milk. Mother says, all right, you may have a glass of milk. Carry me to my room, Father, says Frances. All right, said Father. Piggyback, said Frances. So Father carried her piggyback to her room. Father kissed Frances goodnight. Mother kissed Frances goodnight. Frances said, may I sleep with my teddy bear? Father gave her the teddy bear. Frances said, can I sleep with my doll too? Mother gave Frances the doll. Good night, said Father. Good night, said Mother. Did you kiss me, said Frances. Yes, said Mother. Yes, said Father. Kiss me again, said Frances. Father kissed her again. Mother kissed her again. They closed the door. May I have my door open, said Frances. Father opened the door. Good night, said Mother. Good night, said Father. Good night, said Frances. Frances could not sleep. She closed her eyes, but she still could not sleep. So she began to sing a little song about the alphabet. She made it up as she went along. Do you ever have nights you can't sleep? Is there something you do? Do you sing a little song? A is for apple pie. B is for bear. C is for crocodile combing his hair. D is for dumplings. Frances kept singing through E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, and R, and she had no trouble until she got to the end of the alphabet. S is for sailboat. T is for tiger. U is for underwear down in the dryer. Frances stopped because dryer did not sound like tiger. She started to think about tigers. She thought about big tigers and little tigers, baby tigers, mother tigers, father tigers, sister tigers, brother tigers, aunt tigers, uncle tigers. I wonder if there are any tigers around here, she said. Frances looked around her room. She thought maybe she could see a tiger in the corner. She was not afraid, but she wanted to be sure. So she looked again. She was sure she could see a tiger. She went to tell Mother and Father. "There's a tiger in my room," said Frances. "Did he bite you?" said Father. "No," said Frances. "Did he scratch you?" said Mother. "No," said Frances. "Then he's a friendly tiger," said Father. "He will not hurt you. Go back to sleep." "Do I have to?" said Frances. "Yes," said Father. "Yes," said Mother. Father kissed her. Mother kissed her. Frances went back to bed and finished her song along the way. She closed her eyes again, but she still could not sleep. Frances opened her eyes and looked around the room. She saw something big and dark. Giants are big and dark, she thought. Maybe that is a giant. I think it is a giant. I think that giant wants to get me. She went into the living room. Father and Mother were watching television, having tea and cake. Frances said, "There is a giant in my room. Can I watch television?" "No," said Mother. "No," said Father. Frances said, "The giant wants to get me. May I have some cake?" Father gave Frances a piece of cake. Father said, "How do you know he wants to get you?" Frances said, "Well, isn't that what giants do?" "Not always." "Why don't you go up to him and see what he wants?" Frances went back to her room. She went right over to the giant and said, "What do you want, giant?" She took a good look at him. There was no giant. It was just a chair and her bathrobe. So she went to bed again. Do you see? It's just a chair, and her bathrobe is draped over the chair. Frances was not very tired and did not close her eyes, and she looked up at the ceiling. There was a crack in the ceiling, and she thought about it. See, there's a crack up there. Maybe something will come out of that crack, she thought. Maybe bugs or spiders or something with a lot of skinny legs in the dark. She went to get Father. He was brushing his teeth. Frances said, "Something scary's going to come out of the crack in the ceiling. I forgot to brush my teeth." Father said, "You brush your teeth and I will have a look." Frances brushed her teeth. Father came back and said, "Nothing could come out of such a small little crack, but if you are worried about it, get someone to help you watch. You can take turns." I hope everyone's remembering to brush their teeth. No abby-yo-yo teeth. Frances told her Teddy to watch. They took turns for a while. Then Frances got tired of it and let Teddy do all the watching. Frances got up and went to the bathroom. When she came back, she was not sleepy at all. And the window was open and the wind was blowing the curtains. I do not like the way the window is open and the way the curtains are moving, thought Frances. Maybe there's something waiting, something very soft. Maybe it moves the curtains to see if I'm watching. She went to tend to Mother and Father's room to tell them. Oh my goodness. They were asleep. Frances stood by Father's side of the bed very quietly, right near his head. She was so quiet. She was the quietest thing in the room. She was so quiet. Her father woke up all of a sudden with his eyes wide open and said, "Whoa!" Father said, "There's something moving the curtains. May I sleep with you?" Father said, "Listen, Frances, do you want to know why the curtains are moving?" "Why?" said Frances. "That is the wind's job," said Father. "Every night the wind has to go around and blow all the curtains." "How can the wind have a job?" said Frances. "Everybody has a job," said Father. "I have to go to my office every morning at 9 o'clock. That is my job. You have to go to sleep so you can be wide awake for school tomorrow. That is your job." Frances said, "I know, but..." Father said, "I have not finished. If the wind does not blow the curtains, he will be out of a job. If I do not go to the office, I will be out of a job. And if you do not go to sleep now, do you know what will happen to you?" "I will be out of a job," said Frances. "No," said Father. "I will get in trouble," said Frances. "Right," said Father. "Good night," said Frances as she went back to her room. Frances closed the window and got into bed. Suddenly there was a noise at the window. She heard bump and thump. "I know something will get me this time," she thought. What do you think that bump and thump are? She jumped out of bed and went to tell Mother and Father. When she got to their door, she thought about it some more and decided not to tell them. She went back to her room. Frances heard the noise at the window. She pulled the covers up over her head. "I wonder what it is," she thought. "If it's something very bad, Father will have to come and chase it away." She pulled off the covers and stood on her bed so she could look out the window. She saw a moth bumping against the window. Oh, look at. Do you see the moth? Yeah. Bump and thump, whack and smack. Frances could hear the moth bumping against the window. All of a sudden, she started feeling tired. She said, "That is just a moth, and he is just doing his job, whacking and smacking against the glass." She closed her eyes. She said, "There are so many giants and tigers and scary and exciting things. I'm pretty tired now. That is just the moth. He's only doing his job, the same as the wind. His job is bumping and thumping, and my job is to sleep." She went to sleep, and she did not get out of bed again until Mother called her for breakfast in the morning. And that is the end. That was a good book. All right, I'll see you next time.